How intentional are you when you start up new projects with your team or with other teams? If you're interested in this question, today's learning snack is for you. I'm Jill Ilfeld, CEO and founder of Insight to Leadership. And recently I was getting started with a new client. And one of the things I do with new clients is I review the expectations I have for them, the expectations they have for me, and then there's some items for discussion. And as I told my new client, this is actually not just something that you need to do in coaching, but for all the teams you're working with, it's really important to create a container of expectations so you know what you can expect from each other. For instance, if you send someone email, should you be annoyed if you don't hear from them within 10 minutes, within an hour, within a week? Like, what are the expectations? Similarly with Slack or texts. And how can people communicate that they have too much, that they can't meet the priority level that you've set for something? How can people let you know that they're having trouble or they need more help or they need some extra resources for something? And also, how can people let you know when you are not being helpful, when you are being the bottleneck to the work, or you have other behaviors that are really impeding the team? What I have found is that the more open we can talk about these things in the beginning, before these problems arrive, the easier it is to go back to these agreements and say, hey, we had agreed that if I was feeling like you were a bottleneck and I wasn't getting the answers I needed, that we would talk about it. So here I am talking about it. And it gives people for permission to have some of these tough conversations that honestly most people don't want to have and aren't that skillful at having. So the next time you are engaging with a new project team, maybe it's cross-functional, maybe you're assembling some of your senior leaders to work on something important, just take 15 or 20 minutes, talk about what are the expectations for this team to be. And if you've never done it with your leadership team, then there is no time like the present. So I'd be curious, post below. I'd love to hear if you have any agreements, what some of those agreements are. I will tell you with one of the teams I worked with, one of my favorite ones that just made me laugh was no Pepsi, only Coke, because they had all worked in different places and someone had Coke and someone had Pepsi and they all loved Coke. So they wanted only Coke at their work meetings. Obviously, this is pre-pandemic days, but it still makes me laugh to this day. So if you're willing, leave a note below about what are some of the expectations or agreements you have in your team. Hope you enjoyed this learning snack.